Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today is day 6 in the 12 days of Christmas. If you're just joining us, we have days 1, 2, and 4 on the blog. Day 3 and day 5 were email exclusives. You still have halfway to go, and we hope that you'll join us, KitchenTableStamper.com. And for the email exclusive portion of our 12 days of Christmas, get subscribed to our email list. You'll get so much more than the fun 12 days of Christmas as an email subscriber. KitchenTableStamper.com/email. Fill out your name and email and get added and get the rest of the exclusive 12 days of Christmas tutorials. There's also a special offer for new subscribers. So if you've missed the 2 exclusive emails that we've sent, don't worry. There's a way for you to get caught up. Look out for that email in your spam or promotion tabs. Okay. All right. So this is our project for today, for day 6. I'm calling it the Berry Merry Purse. I made this fun trapezoid box. You can do it with or without the handle. We're doing it today with the handle because I think the contents are perfect for a little handle purse. We've got our Merry Christmas tissues and a sweet little peppermint lip balm. And we dressed up the little peppermint lip balm, don't miss this, to match the little presents on our tissue. And of course, you can add a gift card in here too if you wanted to. So it's a really fun way to give practical gifts for the season and maybe even a gift card too. All right, so let's get started. We've got Poppy Parade cardstock. We've got a couple of pieces here, and let me show you. The base of our project is 10 by 8.5, and then after you take the 10 by 8.5, you'll have a 1-inch scrap, and you can cut that down to 1/2 by 7.5, and that will make the handle for your purse. And then when you're done trimming according to the template, then you're going to have these blocks that we don't use. And then from that, you're going to take the scrap and make, this is optional, this is 11/16 by 3 1/8. And this little piece right here came from the scraps, but what it does is it just finishes off the inside with a little extra reinforcement for your handles. So your handles are going to wrap around and glue to the inside, and then this piece is going to glue over and just give it that little extra stability, especially if you decide to put anything in here that's a little bit heavier. Okay, so these are the 3 pieces that you need for your trapezoid purse or your trapezoid box with handle. You can get them all from 1 sheet of cardstock. Let's get our Simply Scored in here now, and we're going to do some scoring. I'm going to start with this handle piece and just do this one really quickly because at each end of the handle you're going to score 3/8 of an inch, and that is going to be the little glue tab to add to the box. Now for our treat box, we're going to pop this guy in on the 10-inch side. This is what we're going for here. I'll have a picture on the printable project sheet. You can collect all 12, and each of them has a printable project sheet with supplies, measurements, step-by-step instructions, full color photos, and you just go to KitchenTableStamper.com or link in the description below, project details, click here. All right, so we're going to start on the 10-inch side at 1/2, 3 3/4, 5 1/4, 8.5. Then rotate one to the right, and then you're going to score at 2 3/4, 3.5, and 7. Let's work those score lines with the bone folder. Okay, so I've worked all these scores, and we've got the skinny little end on the left side. Now let's also, while we've got the bone folder, just run a bone folder over the crease on the handle, and then we're going to use the bone folder to curve our handle, and then run the bone folder on the crease on the other side. So there's the handle for your trapezoid bag. if you want to add a handle. All right, now we're going to trim according to the template. Really simple trimming. Let me grab a pair of paper snips here. I'm going to do mine with snips, but you can, of course, go back to the paper trimmer because you've got some big long lines here to cut. So I'm going to start with the skinny little glue tab in my left hand, and there's 2 little rectangles at the top and 1 at the bottom. We're going to remove those. So start at the top and cut down 2 score lines. And then when you get to that second score line, trim that off at an angle. Then skip down to the bottom, trim that off at an angle, and then straight along this long rectangle. Now we're going to keep going across the bottom, go up straight along the rectangle, and then an angle on the square, and remove that bulk of paper. Then next score line, straight along the rectangle and angle on the square. One more time, next score line, straight along the rectangle and angle on the square. And then we'll finish this square with a little angle. That helps to bring the bottom of the box together nice and square and neat. Now for the top, we're gonna rotate back to the top of the box. We're gonna go to this next score line and cut down 2 score lines. Now here's where you can do this with your trimmer if you want to, because you're going to go 2 score lines. That's a lot of cardstock there. And then rotate and then cut 2 score lines all the way to remove these 6 rectangles. Now from these 6 rectangles right here, that's where I got this little piece to reinforce my handle. Okay, you can save this for some small die cutting and stuff too. We've got some presents on our little purse and some bows. So that's the perfect piece to get those little presents and bows out of. I'm going to round the corners on this flap. Let me get my corner chomper here. And now we can grab some Designer Series paper. My Designer Series paper is 3 by 3 1/4, and I've got 2 of those different patterns, and then 3 by 2 1/2, and I've got that from the snowflake pattern. This one needs the corners rounded, so let's go ahead and do that just on the bottom edge to match our flap. And now let's do some glue. We're going to add the larger pieces first. So on this back side, which is the same section as the flap, we're going to add our snowflake. Then we're going to add our snowflake with the rounded corners. So you're going to skip this top section right here and add the snowflake to your flap. And then for a little contrast on the front of the box, we're going to add this stripe, candy cane stripe. I like the candy cane stripe paper with the little lip balm inside. It's kind of like bringing the outside to the inside, or the inside to the outside. Let's get some tear and tape adhesive, and we're going to put tear and tape adhesive right here along the score line, and then fold and remove the liner. And then we'll fold back from the opposite side here and make our bag. Now we want the seams to go to the back of the box, so tuck in the sides. You can bring forward from the back, and then add a little tear and tape. And then we're going to bring back from the front, add a little more tear and tape. Let's remove the liner and close up the bottom. All right, I'm going to take your pick tool here and just use it to make sure that tear and tape grabs. Now we'll fold a little gusset at the top here. So just pinch in and flatten about halfway down. And let's go ahead and add our handle. For the handle, I'm going to use liquid glue. We're going to add a little liquid glue. And then same on this side, add a little liquid glue. That gives us some time to just gently slide and get it centered. Make sure we get it straight and centered. All right, handle's installed. Let's go ahead and reinforce now here. And this again is going to sandwich that little tabs. It's going to clean up the look from the inside, but it's also going to glue those handles on from the other side too. So they're not just stuck to the bag, but they're going to be sandwiched in between the Poppy Parade paper, which means if you put something a little bit heavier in this bag and somebody still picks it up by the handles, your handles aren't going to come flying off. And this little bag is quite a substantial little bag. It could get heavy given the right contents. So I thought this not only cleaned up that inside, but also gave us a little bit more sturdy handles. All right, now we're going to pop in our Merry Christmas tissue and lip balm. But before we do that, I want to show you, I have a little present already made up. I'll show you another one in just a minute. We're going to pop that on the lip balm. Now, I got these on Amazon, and I've included the links below in case you would like to make this. We're going to add a little present on. So now our lip balm perfectly matches our tissues. The tissues, I got in an assorted pack. Let me show you the other designs real quick. Isn't that cute? Okay, hang on, I'll show you. I think any of these would be adorable in this box. You could definitely change your decorations on the outside to reflect what's inside. So gnomes and lights to form a tree. Let it snow for your winter projects. And then gingerbreads. Adorable, right? All right, so that's the assorted pack, and that's what I linked you to in the description below. Let's get some Velcro on our lid so that we can close our box. I've got 2 little Velcro dots here. I buy these on Amazon in a bulk package. There's 6 packs of dots, and sometimes it's available and sometimes it's not. So I just keep watching because it's a really good value. You get 6 of these packages of 56 3/8-inch circles. I'm going to find the fuzzy side because the fuzzy side is more opaque. It's got a white finish and the rough side has a clear finish. You can see what I want is the fuzzy side on the flap and the clear side on the Designer Series paper, because I think the one on the flap is a little bit less noticed. So since it's less noticed anyways, we're going to take the rough side, which is the less noticeable side, and we're going to stick the coarse side to the Designer Series paper, the fuzzy side to the cardstock flap. We're going to go about 1/4 of an inch in and about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch in from the side and down from the top. Once you've got them secured and burnished on the flap, then you can remove the liner. Now you've got a sticky pair of Velcro, and you're going to close up your box nice and square and adhere that down. Now what I like to do when it's adhered down is put my Take Your Pick tool in between for the first time it separates. That way the Velcro pieces separate. The Velcro doesn't separate from either side, removing paper as you go. And so now you can see that clear side. You can barely see it when you open up the purse. All right, so there's our little purse. Isn't that sweet? That's it, you guys. Fast, easy, holds a lot. Let's go ahead and decorate now. I'm using the Christmas Friends bundle. I love this bundle. You can save 10% when you buy the Christmas Friends and Christmas Friends dies together. Got some basic white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black because we'll color with a combination of Stampin' Blends and Stampin' Write markers. I'm going to stamp both my tree and my bear with Memento. And by the magic of television, I already have a bear stamped, so I'm going to use that one. I slide that aside. And then I've got a circle here. We cut this one using the Everyday Details dies. It's known for this like eyelet kind of cut, but the smallest one, the 1 3/8, has a fine pierce detail. So 1 3/8 inch circle. If you don't have the Everyday Details and you need to substitute something. All right, let's switch ink. I'm gonna use Garden Green for my greeting. And you know I cannot resist, if you know me, you know I cannot resist anything punny. So have a very Merry Christmas. This purse was crying for have a very Merry Christmas tag. We're gonna stamp it low of center, but centered right to left in that gorgeous green color. And while that dries for a minute, let's color the tree and the bear. I'm gonna switch out this one for this one so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So there is no Garden Green Stampin' Blend. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I think it's nuts. But so I've got Granny Apple Green Light and Dark, and then my Garden Green Stampin' Write marker. And I'm going to use that for the tree and the wreath. I'm going to start with a coat of light Granny Apple Green over the wreath and just fill it in entirely with the light one. All right, now because I'm mixing media between the Stampin' Write markers and the Stampin' Blend markers, I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. With Stampin' Blend markers, you don't let the ink dry between coats. But because I'm mixing a water base and a alcohol based media here to get a nice garden green look on the wreath and on the tree, I'm going to alternate between my tree and my wreath. And so I just colored the boughs on my tree with the dark Granny Apple Green. All right, now I'm going to go on to the wreath, and I'm just going to really, in the spots where the artist showed the most texture, against the bow, against the bear's neck, and behind head, under the chin, and then between the bow, I'm just adding a little bit of dark Granny Apple Green here. All right, so we're starting to build our color up. All right, then I'm going to put this one aside and grab my Garden Green, and then on the tree I'm going to just flick and follow some of the lines that the artist drew on the boughs. So we've got some varying color in the boughs. And the reason why I'm letting it dry a little bit in between the Stampin' Blends and the Stampin' Writes is because when I went straight on the wet alcohol ink with the water-based ink, I found that they did blend, but what happened was that the pigments separated out from the Stampin' Write and it looked kind of grainy. So just giving it a few seconds in between really does help. Now I'm gonna just dab over the 2 shades of Granny Apple Green with the brush end of the garden green marker. I'm going to leave just a very few little highlights of the garden green peeking out while making a leafy texture using the brush point on the Stampin' Write, the garden green Stampin' Write. I've gone in and I've done kind of a base, modeled base of the Granny Apple Green and the garden green. Get all these little areas. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to fill a little bit more solid where there would be a cast shadow. So the head, neck, chin, and where the bow hangs over. And then I'm going to do the same thing and fill a little bit more solid right along the outer edge, which will help the wreath look like it's rounding away, to have those two edges be darker. And then once I've filled in the cast shadow and the complementary shadow on the opposite side, then I'll just gently bring the two together so that it gets light up where the wreath would be at its highest in that curve. And that's it. It gives a lot of nice texture and brings in that garden green color that we've got in the Designer Series paper. All right, then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color my bear, and I want a very light brown bear. So I've got light and dark crumb cake and a color lifter. I'm gonna use the light crumb cake and color lifter first to kind of get a base color on my bear, where the artist drew in some texture and some shadow. That's where I'm going to concentrate my crumb cake the most. Now I've got kind of a dry crumb cake here. If you're using a nice new fresh one, you're going to want to go with a light hand. And now you're going to scribble in towards the face, and as you get closer to the face, you're going to become less solid in the way that you're filling. All right, so here you've got almost a solid fill. Here you've got kind of a scribble, spaghetti scribble. Now you're going to take your color lifter and do the opposite. Where the paper is white, you're going to fill solid with color lifter. And then as you get close to that solid crumb cake, you're going to do kind of a spaghetti scribble. And then I'm going to go in and go over some of the shadow places one more time with the light. And then move to the body and do the same. So we're going to do kind of a solid fill along the sides and bottom of the paws, where the artist filled in the lines. Down the back leg. And then I'm going to flip to my brush here. I'm going to go pretty solid behind the wreath. And then do that kind of spaghetti scribble toward the center. Leave some white. It's going to add some fun texture to the bear. All right, then from the white out, a little bit of a solid fill, and then that spaghetti scribble. And it really will add a fun kind of a fur texture to your bear and keep the bear from getting to be too dark. Now I'm going to put aside my color lifter, grab my dark crumb cake, go back to the face, and we're going to make some little hash marks just where the artist did. And that's going to bring our bear. We can extend into the face just a little bit. And then over those dark crumb cake hashes, we'll add some light crumb cake hashes to kind of soften them out. And now we've got a nice fuzzy looking bear with a light brown color. Let's do the same for the body. Go back with the dark and follow the artist's inspiration, maybe down the legs for definition, down the back. And then that same idea, this wreath is going to kind of cast a shadow, so we're going to do some dark out that wreath, but I'm going to scribble that into light. And then anywhere that it looks a little dark on the body, you can do that spaghetti scribble again to increase the texture and lighten the fur. Okay, there's our light brown bear. I'm going to add a touch of petal pink in the ears. For my tree, let's go back to the tree. I've got dark pecan pie, and I'm just going to do the trunk in one swoop here, just to add a little brown to the trunk. And last, that beautiful bow and the ornaments. I've got Poppy Parade. Are they ornaments or berries? I don't know. All right, there is our bear and tree. Let's go ahead and die cut them. And of course, we're going to die cut some of those little presents while we go from Poppy Parade and Garden Green, the presents and the bows. All right, there's our Christmas Friends. By the magic of television, I have another little present. And then let me show you this one. Here's a Poppy Parade base. And the ribbons and the bow cut out as two separate pieces. So got the bow and then the ribbon out of Garden Green. And I'm just going to grab my glue bottle with the ultra fine point and my handy dandy silicone mat. We're going to add the tiniest little bit of glue here. Don't need a lot. Spread it around. Use the silicone mat. That'll make cleanup easy. The glue will just dry and kind of peel right off. And we'll add the ribbon. Cute, right? And the fun part is you can have a tall present, put the ribbon this way, or you can have a wide present, put the ribbon this way, or you can put the ribbon here. So there's a couple of different ways that you can assemble this on your project. I think that's pretty cool too. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here just at the center, because that way I can pop this guy on and then lift the ribbon just a little bit so it gives it a bit of dimension. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's get our bits back in here. We've got a sentiment. This is the tag that we're going to use. I've got the second from the smallest banner from the Nested Essentials out of Garden Green. We're going to adhere those two together to make our bag tag. Got my liquid glue. Make sure it's level. And then one more bit of die cutting here. Oh, let me show you this. I have a teeny tiny little gold star. Do you guys see that? That is also from the Christmas Friends. From the Something Fancy dies, we've got this largest label, one from Pool Party, and then just a piece of one or one for every 2 projects from Basic White. What we're going to do with the white one is cut just a little ground, like a snowdrift here. Use your imagination. Anything is fine. Just own it. And then we're going to add that snowdrift right to the bottom of our pool party. So now we've got ground and sky, and I love to do this and then add my hand-colored elements into the scene. I got the end of some dimensionals that I want to use up, so let's go ahead and add a couple dimensionals to the back of my bear. And I'm going to add a little piece of dimensional onto my square present. The rest are going to go on here with some liquid glue. We'll add our bear first. We want his tail right up against the right side and his front paw right up against the bottom. That'll give us enough room then to add our tree. Don't put glue all the way to the top because it's going to go past the top of the label. And then we can dot a little bit of glue at the end of the tree there. I'm going to add my square present. Don't cover the bow. We just worked really hard to color that bow. Drop the star into the little dot of liquid glue at the top there. It's crooked. There we go. And then a little liquid glue on our present. Tuck that one in. Don't cover the whole tree. We worked hard to color it. So cute, right? And now let's bring our little purse back in. Get some more dimensionals. And I'm going to put them on the back of this label. Yep, here's where we're really going to use them up. Add that so that it's centered right to left, and we can see a little bit of Designer Series paper peeking underneath. See if I can get it level. There we go. Cute, right? Last is our Very Merry Christmas tag. I've got a 1/8 inch circle punch. So we're going to turn these banner and circle into a tag. And from the online exclusives, I've got some dotted ribbon. This is real red, but I think it looks great with the Poppy Parade. So I'm going for it. I'm going to take probably about, I'd say maybe 14 inches, give or take, and cut it from the spool. I know I don't usually cut from the spool, but then I'm going to wrap the ribbon through the handle and pull both ends through the tag. So to make that just a little bit easier, I've got my handy dandy floss threader. I'll just put tails of the ribbon, just the very tails, into the loop of the floss threader through the tag from the back to the front, and then just kind of gently, we've got 2 layers of ribbon coming through here, so you don't want to distort your tag, but you can just pull those through using the floss threader. And then cinch that up on the handle where you like it. And then this is a single-sided ribbon. So I'm going to take just a second and show you here what I will do with a single-sided ribbon. So I'm right-handed. So in my right hand, I'm going to turn the tail that's in my right hand so that it's face up. And I'm going to loop so that the front face is out. So see, I've just got a loop, and then I'm going to turn the one in my left hand so that the front face is up, and I'm going to swoop over the top, tuck. See, I'm holding a little space right here with my finger. I got the loop and it's swooped. So then I'm going to tuck, and when I tuck here, that loop is going to be front-sided. It's going to have the right the correct face out. So then we can pull. We've looped, we've swooped, we've tucked, and now we'll pull. And then we're gonna adjust the size of our loops. I want kind of a petite bow. I did a lot of ribbon here so that I could have the dexterity and the room I need to get the faces right. So now we've got this ribbon that has 2 loops and a tail with the right face. So you're going to take the tail that's got the wrong face. You're going to get as close underneath that loop as you can and twist so that you've got all of your loops and all of your tails front facing. Once you've got them all front facing like that, then you give another pull on the loops to secure that front face up. So that's how you tie a bow with single face ribbon. Now if you want to, you can hold the knot and you can pull the tails to adjust the size of the bow a little bit. I want mine a little bit smaller. And let's trim the tails. So if you've got very good dexterity, you can probably start with maybe 11 or 12 inches of ribbon if you're going to do a little bow like this. But sometimes with a single face ribbon, you'll find that there's just a little bit more waste because you need the room to twist each side as you go. All right, there's our Have a Very Merry Christmas tag and our sweet little trapezoid box purse. If you've got any questions about the project or about the 12 Days of Christmas, you can email me, Marissa, at kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.